Hello everybody, Phil Snyder with GunClassUtah.com. Hey, today I want to talk about a very important piece of legislation that the Utah legislature has made for this year. And it's Constitutional Amendment C that's on the official Salt Lake County ballot for the November 5th, 2024 vote. So if you look on the ballot, it's on page 2 of 2. On the very back here, under Constitutional Amendment C, it says, shall the Utah Constitution be amended to have the office of county sheriff be elected by the voters, for or against? I don't think a lot of people are aware of this legislation that's being proposed, and it's very important. I normally don't get involved in politics, especially online on YouTube. But this is something that I feel very strongly about. A lot of people don't know what the difference is between a police chief and a sheriff. And let me just tell you in short, a sheriff has one boss. They answer to you, we the people. They answer to the community in that county that elects the sheriff. A police chief position is not decided by an election. It's decided by one person. The mayor typically will hire a police chief. So, who would you rather have as your chief law enforcement officer of Salt Lake County, or any county for that matter in Utah? Would you rather have that sheriff decided by maybe a mayor, or maybe approved by the city council, maybe a handful of people? Or should the voter, you, decide who is going to be your county sheriff? Very, very big difference. The people don't understand the power that they have in their hands at the ability to elect their chief law enforcement officer in their county that they live in. Let me just give you the responsibilities of a sheriff. And you can find this under Utah Title 17-22-2. I'm not going to read them all, but I'm going to state certain duties that they have in relevant part. Number 1, the sheriff shall preserve the peace. They shall make all lawful arrests. Paragraph F, they shall command the aid of as many inhabitants of the sheriff's county as the sheriff deems necessary to carry out these duties. Very, very powerful statement there. So basically, if there was a zombie apocalypse occurring in your county and the sheriff needed more help, he has by law the statutory authority to command the aid of as many people in the county as he deems appropriate to fulfill that objective of preserving the public peace and making lawful arrests. In other words, they could deputize citizens of the county. A police chief can't do that. Here's some other duties of a county sheriff. They are in charge of keeping the jail, the Salt Lake County Jail. That is the sheriff's statutory duty, to run the jail. It's also their statutory duty as a sheriff to provide security for the district and the justice courts in Salt Lake County, or assign constables to man those justice courts if they want to do that. The sheriff is responsible for the civil process, serving papers and writ of restitutions and arrest warrants and things like that. So they have a civil unit. The most important duty of the county sheriff, by far, in my opinion, is this one. The sheriff got a new job. They got new duties added effective May 1st, 2024. Utah Title 53-22-103. Titled Sheriff's Responsibilities for the Schools under the School Safety Act, House Bill 84. It says the sheriff shall coordinate security responsibilities, security protocols, and other required trainings. Collaborate with school safety and security director, the school safety needs assessments, conduct building safety evaluations yearly, and administer the school guardian program and training. For those of you that are not aware of House Bill 84, the School Safety Act, that went into effect on May 1st of this year, is basically giving the sheriff of every county a very big responsibility. They are in charge of the security of all of the schools that are located in their county. So if something bad happens in a school, you can point your finger at the sheriff. They've been given extra duties by the Utah State Legislature under that new law. I've done a video on it. You could look at that as well. So if we look at Uvalde, a shooting that happened a couple of years ago where I can't remember the body count, but there was a number of elementary school kids that were murdered by a psycho with an AR-15 gunman that went into the school. And they had parents rushing in there to save their children because the police were doing nothing. Why? Because they were being told by a school district police chief to stand down. And that school district police chief, not a sheriff obviously, was probably hired by one person. They were probably hired by the school superintendent for that school district, or the school board president, something like that's going to be my guess. That's how it's run in Utah. But you had one person that wasn't competent to do that job. So again, I ask you, would you rather have a county sheriff who's responsible for keeping your children safe at school, or would you rather have that into the hands of somebody that's a police chief that is hired probably by one person? You decide. The Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office is something that I'm very proud of, and I feel very personal about any legislation that affects this. I myself was hired as a Salt Lake County Sheriff's Deputy in November 1996, and that was a very good day for me. And on that particular day, Sheriff Kennard issued me this badge right here. And my brother was present for the swearing-in ceremony, and he asked my brother to pin that badge on my uniform shirt that day. And I worked for the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office all the way through till 2010, when the Unified Police Department was organized under the former Sheriff, Jim Winder. I wasn't very happy to put on a blue uniform. I was very proud to be a deputy, and I wish I could have retired. I wish I would have had the 20 years in 2010 to retire as a deputy. But it is what it is. And so when we were reorganized into the Unified Police Department, we had to put on a new badge, a new Unified Police badge, and put on a blue uniform. And it wasn't the same. Anyway, please pass this around to anybody that you know. This is Utah legislation. However, this is not the first time this has come up for sheriff elections on the ballot, this particular issue. Let's go back to November 2000. The state of Connecticut voted to remove sheriffs as constitutional officers in a 66 to 34% vote. Bad day for Connecticut, losing their sheriffs. King County, Washington, November 2020. They decided during that vote to change the sheriff from an elected position to an appointment by a mayor or city council. Shame. November 2022, Kansas voted 62 to a 38% vote to keep the sheriffs as being elected by we the people. Kansas got it right. The other two, they didn't. They lost something very powerful that we as the voters, we as the people had. The Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office has been around and was created in 1849. May 2024 was the 175th year anniversary. In 1999, I was issued this badge, the celebration of 150 years of the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office. This was the, it says 1849 to 1999 on there. And we wore those badges for a short period of time during that. Anyway, pass this on to not just people in Utah, but please like and share this video. The algorithm likes that, and please like the hell out of this video and share it to anybody in the United States, because this legislation could come up in your state. And I wanted everybody to know what the differences is between the police chief and the sheriff, and how important it is to have a sheriff representing us, we the people, when law enforcement matters come up, to keep us safe and to keep our schools safe. We want to be able to pick who that person is. So please get out and vote. I believe early voting in here in Utah starts October the 22nd, next week. Please vote in person if you can. Take some people with you. Get your vote in. Do it in person. Do paper ballots. Because this really matters. And we want to be able to decide who our sheriff is going to be. Thanks for watching.